Hello everyone, in this video you are going to see about the inline function. So in order to know about the inline function, first of all we should know what is a function. Function is a subprogram or a module which is repeatedly used in a programming concept. What is the function is, the function is a well-defined set of instruction which is repeatedly used in a program. So these type of repeated instructions can be defined and they can be stored in a name. So that is how the function definition comes, and then this is the way we can define the function and we can call the function. Whenever we need the function, we use the name to call the function. Okay, so now let us see how the flow of the function. Whenever you are having a main program in your function, how the program flows is, the program starts with the main entry and then it goes line by line. Okay, so now whenever the function call has come, that is the calling the function means the function name along with the parameters is, when it comes in the main flow, that is called as a function calling. When a function call comes, really what the system does is the flow, the execution, the continuous execution of the flow is branched to a new location where the function one has been stored in the memory, which is in some other area in the memory location. So what it does is, when it comes across the function call, it goes to the location and then it start the work and then it will complete the work and return to the main function. This is just like a master is being commanded. Okay, a master commands the server, the slave or the servant to do some work. So likewise, when this function call comes, it goes to the position and then do the work and come back. This process is called as in context switching. Okay, so for that, what the system has to do is, the system has to save the current address where it had stopped when the function call comes. Then it has to go to the new address and then start the new function and then return the new function to the old location. So in order to give the answer to the old location, the system has to get back the address. So this is how all the processes, function call and return takes place. This is called as an housekeeping function, housekeeping operation. That is switching from the main function to the sub function, doing the work and coming back to the main function of the result is called as the function handling. Okay, so for this the system has to do so many housekeeping operations. Likewise, then again the main program starts executing and one more function call comes, the same thing is repeated. So the function call has to be requested, has to be granted. So the function to location will be searched in the memory. It will go to the location, do the work and come back to the main program. So in order to do this function call and return, the system has to do so much of the housekeeping operations. Okay, so that is how the function works in a normal any programming language. So now, and here we have two types of functions called user defined function and library function. What is user defined function is, the user defines some function for his own application, maybe defining some average, some calculation, some formula, some repeated work. So anything can be given as a function. Okay, and the system defined function is, our inbuilt function is like the sine function, cos function, tan function and otherwise any other standard mathematical or statistical function have been done and stored in some location in the memory itself. So the user can call the function just by giving the name and along with the parameters. This is called as a built-in function. So now coming to our concept of inline function. What is the inline function is, when a program has the keyword inline before the function name, that function is an inline function, and is inline function is always a short function. Okay, inline function is always a short function. So only this short functions can be defined as an inline function. Even if you mention inline keyword for any other large function also, the system will not consider that as an inline function. Only the short functions can be expanded as an inline function. Okay, so again how to declare this inline function is the same as the function, but you have to just give the function. Before this you have to use the keyword function inline. You have to use the keyword inline. If you use the word inline, then it will be an inline function. Okay, you have to use the word inline function. So if you use this keyword inline function before the function name, it is called as an inline function. Okay, so now let us see how this inline function can be defined and how it helps the user. So C++ provides an inline function to reduce the function call overhead. That's what I told you now. The function call overhead is the housekeeping operation to start the function, to do the function and come back to the main program. So inline function is a function that is expanded inline when it is called. That means whatever the function call has to be expanded will be given in the main function itself. That means instead of going and doing the job outside the function, outside this memory main location, the system will bring the data to the function itself if it is small. That is called as an inline function. So when it brings the content to the inline with the main program, the housekeeping operation is reduced. So if the function is large function, bringing all the line of codes to the main function will increase the memory space, and again it will be reduce the efficiency of the program. That is why inline function always be a short function the system will perform. Okay, so now coming to this next part of this, how this inline function will be useful is when the substitution is performed by the C++ compiler at the compile time. So we have two types of execution time, compile time and runtime. What is compile time is, it is a translation time. The high level programming language what you give will be converted into machine language ones and zeros. It is called as a compile time. Just a translation from machine language, from high level language to the machine language. After that, every compiled instruction is executed. During execution only, the function will really take place. The function will really perform the operations performed in the function. Okay, so now because of this inline function is brought to the mainstream itself, it is called as an inline with the main. It is inline function which will improve the efficiency of the function. Okay, so now here the syntax of the function is keyword inline, return type, it may be void or main, int or char or whatever it may be, then function name and then parameters, and then open brace and close brace. Everything is same as the normal function except the keyword inline. That's it. Okay, now let us see an example of how the inline function is defined in a program. Now here you can see here, so we are defining the class A, started the opening brace and then specifier public inline space int, this is the return value, this is the function name, and parameters int a and int b. And what is the purpose of the function, or what is the operation of the function is just you have to add the two variables a plus b, so return a plus b. So this function will return the answer to the main function. So this is one way of defining an inline function. Here the inline function is defined within the class itself. This is one method of defining the inline function. And another inline function is, we can define the inline function using the scope resolution operator also. Let us see the example over here. Like as usual, the class A starts with the open brace and the specifier, then the function is mentioned int add int a comma int b, and it is closed. Now the class is closed with the semicolon operator. Now we have to come out of the class and you have to define the function. That means you have to use the keyword inline, the return function, return type int or main or int or char or float, and then a is the class name, scope operator, scope resolution operator, then add function, add int a comma int b. Now here the function is same, the performance just you have to add the two variables and return the value, but here the definition is given outside the class. That is why the scope operator is used. So we can use either this inline definition within the class as usual without any scope specifier, or we can use using the scope operator after outside the class also. Okay, so this is how the inline function works. So let me explain this inline concept with a simple example so that you can remember the concept well. Okay, for example, suppose you are having your you are preparing for your exams and you are sitting in your reading room and reading your book. You want to drink some water. So every time, instead of going to outside the room and taking the water and bringing it and then drinking, will take much of your time. It will spoil your reading time. So what you can do is you can bring a cup of water and then you can keep it in your reading room and you can drink the water as when you need. Okay, this is exactly like the function call is happen. This function call is executed going to the place and then coming back and then inserting into the main function. Okay, so now instead of going out of your reading room, getting water, drinking it, then coming back to your reading room will take much of your space, much of your time and reduce your work energy. So instead you can bring it the same into your reading room so that you can use it. But just imagine the scenario. Suppose if you want to have your breakfast or dinner, you cannot bring it everything to your reading room. That is not, because that is a little bit a big process. So you have to go to the dining hall, have your breakfast or dinner, then you can come back to the reading room. So this is the similarity I can explain between how the normal classes takes place, normal function takes place, and the inline function takes place. Hope this example will make you clearly understand the concept of inline function, and thanks for watching.